I wanted to bring up Aaron's chainless run, but
Sure.
first, talking about just famous runs from Leogang, we had, because I put the effort into pulling all these up, so I'm going to say it, but we had Stevie Smith taking the World Cup overall in 2013 over G. Atherton.
Yep.
RIP Stevie Smith. That was an epic season. Everybody should go back and watch that race if they can. Reese Wilson winning worlds in the mud. Super epic and impressive. Tony Seagrave took her first win here in 2017. Just a track that provides kind of standout runs. I mean, last year with Valley and Kolb both winning kind of like on home soil was really cool to see. It's interesting how that happens with some tracks. I guess maybe it's just time going to them provides the history because you've gone there so many years. But with Aaron's chainless run, you've told the story a bunch, so I don't need you to rehash that all out. But
Sure.
him winning without a chain, I think, highlights how important carrying speed is on this track and the potential you have to just generate speed as you build your race run together. Was there anything crazy you guys tried over the years to like maximize that rolling speed for maybe the top 2/3 of the track?
No, nothing crazy for us, or what other people would consider crazy. At that time, we ran pretty, and this is more of a hindsight realization, we ran pretty high tire pressure historically early on. And I remember one year at Mont Saint Anne, Blinky saw my tire gauge when I was checking Aaron's before his race run. And I think it was like 32 PSI or 34, maybe even. And he looked at me and he literally said in pure Blinky fashion, he's like, "You got to be effing kidding me, right?" And I just looked at him. I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "Are you messing with me? Is that?" He runs lower than that, right? He doesn't actually race with that. Like, you're waiting till I leave to put the right pressure in. And Aaron was on the warm-up bike, and they're pretty good buddies. And he just looked at him and said, "Nah, dude, like, I ain't flattened, and I'm rolling fast." And he was like, "You're out of your mind. There's no way you can have any traction with that pressure." So crazy setup or unique setups, like, no, not what people would traditionally think in that case. But we did run like pretty historically high tire pressures, and that was to tire technology wasn't fantastic. It's come a long ways, I think. And so that was partly like, I don't want to ding my rim. And that's almost how he would determine his tire pressure rather than grip. It was like, if I hit my rim, I don't want to do that. So go up in pressure, please. Rather than like I'm missing grip here or there. We get that from suspension. So no, not really. It was just, but rolling speed was always the most important thing for Aaron, and generating speed maybe is a better way to word that. He's always been very good at pumping and finding speed. And so bikes that were good at that was where he really excelled. He really enjoyed riding bikes. In his mind, if he could, the rough stuff wouldn't matter, or how a bike worked in the rough stuff, as long as it was fast through it. He could hold on. He's like, "I'll do the gym work. I'll get the strength and I'll hold on to it. I want that thing to be fast everywhere and like to generate speed." So when he puts energy into the bike, he wants acceleration. Where some bikes, like, I'm sure if you've ridden enough, like, you can push into them and they kind of just feel like boggy, or they don't like generate. You're trying to like really get them going. So not really. That incident played really well to his strengths. He snapped a chain and he goes, in his mind, he just looked down and said, "All right, as long as it doesn't get caught in my wheel, there's not a whole lot of places where I need to put down like power and sprint here. It's all just carrying momentum and tucking." And so that's just the mentality that he immediately went into.
Do you think somebody could, or he could, him or somebody else could recreate that on the track this weekend, or is it too different now with the lower woods?
No, lower woods is fine. There's no section that you're still not having to like sprint or pull in there. That Red Bull like little river gap is a in the wet is a really sketchy run in where like you definitely have to put like a couple pedals in if it's wet and muddy to have the speed to clear that. So if it's wet and muddy, then no. You basically ride through this like mud bog, and it would just like put the brakes on right before you had to for your life. So so no, I don't. But in the dry, for sure, you could for sure still carry, I think, most of the momentum you needed to. But again, like it's a different era, and there's different riders and there's different skill sets out there now. So the true answer is I don't know if you could recreate it, but I'm also kind of like a anything is possible type of mentality guy. So yeah, for sure it could still happen.
Yeah. I feel like the story from Aaron's chainless run that gets forgotten is he robbed Connor Fearon of his first his only potential World Cup win
by 0.048. That's one stat that I know pretty well. Matty Dupel, it let me know at the next after party of Val Sol he was not happy about that. We've since become really good friends, but he was not a fan at the time, and especially after some after party beverages.
It's great though. I mean, I feel like you've mentioned how like people will send you that video like 5-8 years later. Like, have you seen this? You're like, that's like me in the background.
My favorite story of that one is the one from your neighbor, John. Your neighbor asking you if you've ever seen it.
Yeah. One of my neighbors like sent me the video or pulled it up. I can't remember. He's like, dude, have you ever seen this? This guy won. He's like, you race mountain bikes, right? I was like, yeah, sure, kind of. You ever see this video? This guy, he won this race without a chain. It's like, yeah. See that guy standing right behind him? That was me.
That's too crazy. He probably blew his mind. His like, there's no way.
Oh, dude, I think too. I can't remember if it was like short. It was sometime after that, but that race run, the video of it ended up on Shock Mansion, and Aaron sent it to me, and he's like, "We made it, dude!" Like at the time, that was like the bar. That would be like the equivalent of like Barstool Sports today, I think, if it like ended up on there. It still pops up in my feed every once in a while, and I'm just thankful that the camera cut away before they saw me friggin' chuck a water bottle.
Oh, it's too good. What chain were you guys using? Like a SRAM chain?
It was a SRAM chain. Yeah, we were full SRAM drivetrain those years, and it was it was nothing against SRAM stuff. Mm-hmm. It was I did my exact routine. It was just kind of a freak deal, I guess. I put a new chain on at the beginning of every round. Yeah. And I would basically run, I think I changed my technique, and I can't remember when, but I would like put a new chain on at the beginning of the week. So, and then they would run it all through practice, qualify, race on the same chain because it's all just brand new, like less than 10 runs type of stuff. And then I would keep it on the next round all the way up to like race run, and then put a new one on race run. And I think I put a new chain on for that race run, and then it snapped. But I was like, so then I actually changed my process to I basically eliminated putting a new chain on for race run, and so I just didn't trust it anymore, and so or didn't want to risk anything being different. And so I would just put a new chain on at the beginning of the week and run that chain through the weekend, because it's bedding in, it's wearing in. These are all microscopic little minute details that we think about, but we would use that same chain all week. And then I would just put a fresh one on at the beginning of practice next week. So I just eliminated that need or that factor of taking a chain off, putting something new on that hasn't been ridden yet, right for race run. So I kind of took the same mentality towards like my wheel sets as well, where we're kind of getting off on tangent here too, but there are some riders or mechanics and teams that would have like race run only wheels that was like no grease in the bearings or hemp oil and like all this weird witchcraft stuff for like race only wheels. And I just never bought into that. I found more comfort and relief from consistency. So if it was good and rolling fast and the wheel was straight and spoke tension was good and we've been running it all week, then that's the one we're racing on. Like, I'm not going to go put another wheel set in that hasn't been ridden on the track yet. Or sometimes they would, those guys would typically send their rider up on the race set of wheels, like last run of practice or last 2 runs of practice or something like that, so that at least they have like a run or 2 on them and then race them. So I just never got into it. I really just bought into like running a part as long as we possibly could and building the consistency and feeling. So
yeah,
that's
interesting. That's cool to hear about.
Yeah. But after that, it was just a 1 chain per race after that.
Did you go find the chain that broke?
No, that's a whole nother story. I tried because we were at the top, and at the time we didn't have any monitors. Red Bull didn't have the race playing at the top. They do now. They started that quite a few years ago now, but at the time they didn't. So when I left the start hut, Aaron was last to drop. So there's nobody up there. When you first get up to the top of a hill for a race run, it's chaos. There's trainers going off everywhere, and people and media and coaches and riders and mechanics. And like, as the race goes on, it just gets quieter and quieter and quieter before there's like the top 5, and you guys are the only ones there. So I left the start hut, and it was Jason Marshy from Santa Cruz and Doug Tricky. So from Santa Cruz, and they were hovered over Marshy's phone watching the race, and it was like slightly delayed. So they were still watching Connor's run when I walked up, and I was just like, that was it. My job's over, that kind of. And, so they showed me on the phone basically what happened. And so, but anyways, after that, to answer your question, the race was over and he won, and Marshy's freaking out. And he was like, "See, dude, you had nothing to worry about, all this." And then he like literally grabbed me. He's like, "You have to go find the chain." And like, I was like, "You're right." And we took off. Like, him and I went running down the track to like the first or second, third turn or something like that. And like, we didn't know where it fell off. We just because it cuts to a camera view and it was there and then it's not. And so we ran down and checked a little ways, and I was like, "Dude, I'm not running all the way down the track. My guy just won. Like, I need to get the podium. I don't need to mess around up here." And I think Marshy might have looked for it a little while afterwards and didn't find it and let me know. He's like, "Sorry, dude, I looked." Like, he's like, that's a famous chain. Somebody's going to find it. And the following year, some dude approaches me, and I can't remember if it was at Leogang or if it was at a different race. It might have been Fort William. I can't remember. At a race the following year, some guy came up to me and was like, "I have that chain." And I was like, "Oh, dude, that's so sick. Like, I would love to have that. If you don't mind, like, that'd be great." And I thought he was like, "I have the chain. I want to give it to you," type of thing. And he's like, "Yeah, for like $3,000 or like $1,000. I don't remember what it was. I don't want to make a number up." But he basically was like, "Oh, you could buy it from me for like this ridiculous price." And I just looked at him and I probably told him to F off. I was like, "What? No, like it's a broken chain. I'm not paying for that. Like, I don't care." And then I told Martin Wiley that story. I think that night at like team dinner, I was like, "Dude, some friggin' crazy a-hole tried to get me to buy the broken chain from last year." Martin's eyes lit up. He's like, "If you see him, tell him I'll buy it." Like,
no way.
Martin loves the memorabilia and that kind of stuff. So that made sense. Like, Martin really would probably love to have that chain. But yeah, I don't know where it's at. That guy probably still has it at his house somewhere. So if you see it, if you're watching this and you're the guy that has it, reach out to Martin Wiley. I'm sure he'll buy it.
Yeah.
I don't want no broken chain. We might have still got the win, but that chain can go in the trash for all I care.
Yeah. Like, I'll keep a tire or something else.
And
from that.
that's no knock on SRAM. That's no knock on
Yeah.
SRAM. They are still excellent chains. We continue to run them and never broke another one. So I still run them on all my stuff today.
Yeah. Dang, that's funny. I can't believe some dude tried to make you pay for it. I mean, it makes the story
Tried to sell
better
it.
in a way. Yeah, but what a dick.
Oh man.
Yeah, here's this flat tire broken part from your race truck. Do you want to buy it? Like, no. Throw that thing in the trash. But I was excited because I thought he was like gifting it to me. I was like, oh wow, thank you. Like, that's so awesome. He's like, yeah, no, for a price. I was like, what? No. And I think he was like taken back by it too. He's like, oh, like what? Like, surprised I didn't want to pay for it.
Yeah.
And I just turned around and walked away. Like, I didn't even get a chance to like negotiate it. I just said no.
Mhm.
Oh.
You're like, my counter offer is free. I will I will give you no money and you will give me the chain, and that's it.
Yeah. Now, if you want to send it to me for free and you're watching this, then sure, I'll take it. But I ain't paying for it.